A hand falls to the jungle floor. The child, maybe 7 years old, doesn't even scream anymore. He's learned that screaming makes it worse. Around him, dozens of severed hands are piled on a wooden table. Small hands, child hands, evidence. A man in a European uniform picks one up, inspects it, nods. "Quota met," he says in French. The boy collapses. This isn't a war zone. This is a rubber plantation. And this was called progress. They told the world it was a humanitarian mission. King Leopold II of Belgium, one of Europe's most respected monarchs, promised to bring civilization to the heart of Africa. The Congo Free State, he called it. Free. But here's what they never told you in history class. It wasn't a country. It was a private business, owned by one man. And that business was built on a product the modern world couldn't live without. Rubber. The same rubber in your car tires, your shoes, your phone case. But the real price? Millions of lives. And what happened in the Congo between 1885 and 1908 was so horrific, so systematically brutal, that even other colonial powers, other colonizers, called it a crime against humanity. This is the story they tried to erase. Let's rewind. 1884, Berlin, Germany. The most powerful men in Europe gather around a table covered in maps. They're carving up Africa like a birthday cake. Britain gets this slice, France gets that one. Germany, Portugal, Spain, everyone gets a piece. Except one man isn't representing a country. King Leopold II of Belgium sits quietly in the corner. He's not even at the table, but he's been planning this for years. See, Belgium is tiny, irrelevant on the world stage. And Leopold? He's obsessed with making Belgium, and himself, powerful. So he creates a fake humanitarian organization, the International African Association. He hires explorers, funds expeditions, builds infrastructure. And he tells everyone the same story. I only want to help the African people, to end slavery, to bring Christianity and civilization. The other European powers buy it. In 1885, they hand him the Congo. Not Belgium, him. A landmass 76 times the size of Belgium. 14 million people. All his personal property. And here's the sickest part. He never even visits. Not once. At first, it's ivory. Leopold sends in companies to extract elephant tusks. They force Congolese people to hunt elephants to extinction. But then, something changes. 1990s, the bicycle craze sweeps Europe and America. Then cars. Then industrial machinery. Everyone needs rubber. And the Congo? It's covered in wild rubber vines. Leopold sees dollar signs. He establishes the Force Publique, a private army of African soldiers led by European officers. Their job? Simple. Make the Congolese people harvest rubber. All of it. Every village is given a quota. You don't meet the quota? Punishment. Your village doesn't produce enough? Your wife and children are taken hostage until you do. You resist? They burn your village. They rape your daughters. They kill your sons. But here's where it gets worse. You're not ready for this part. The Force Publique is given rifles, but bullets are expensive. So, Leopold's officers create a rule. For every bullet you fire, you must bring back proof you didn't waste it. Proof. A human hand. If you kill someone during a raid, you cut off their right hand and bring it back. This is how you prove you didn't use the bullet for hunting, for rebellion, for yourself. But here's the thing about systems of terror. They evolve. Soldiers start cutting off hands from living people. Children who don't meet rubber quotas. Adults who resist. Entire families. Because it's easier than tracking down rebels. Because it sends a message. Because it becomes normal. One missionary, a man named Edgar Stannard, described walking into a village after a raid. He found a mother sitting in the dirt, holding her daughter's severed hands. The girl was 5 years old, still alive. The mother was just staring. Stannard asked a Force Publique soldier why they did this. The soldier shrugged. "Rubber quota," he said, as if it was obvious. And this wasn't a few isolated incidents. This was policy, across an entire country, for 23 years. But it gets darker. Because the hands, they were just the beginning. Imagine you're a Congolese man. You're a farmer, a father. One day, Leopold's men arrive in your village. They gather everyone in the center. They take your wife, your children. They lock them in a fenced compound, and they tell you, "Bring us 20 kilograms of rubber every 2 weeks. Do that, and your family eats. Do that, and they live. You don't own tools. You don't get paid. You go into the jungle, sometimes for days, searching for wild rubber vines. You slash the vines, collect the sap, smear it on your body so it hardens into sheets you can peel off. It burns your skin. It scars you. But you do it. Because if you don't, your children starve in that compound. And if you still don't meet the quota, they start shooting your family, one by one. This system had a name: hostage houses. It wasn't hidden. It was official policy. Leopold's agents wrote about it in reports. Casual, matter of fact. The hostage system is most effective for ensuring rubber production. Millions of people lived this nightmare. Every single day. For years, the world doesn't know. Leopold controls the press. Controls access to the Congo. Journalists who try to investigate? Denied entry. Congolese people who try to speak out? Silenced. But in 1903, a British diplomat named Roger Casement is sent to the Congo on a fact-finding mission. What he finds breaks him. He interviews hundreds of survivors. He documents the mutilations, the murders, the starvation. He takes photographs. One photo shows a man named Nasala. He's sitting on a porch staring at something in front of him. It's a small foot and a small hand. His daughter's. She was killed because his village didn't produce enough rubber. Casement writes a report. It's published in 1904. The world is horrified. Then an American missionary named William Shepard smuggles out more evidence. Then a journalist named E.D. Morel starts a campaign in Britain. He calls it the Congo Reform Movement. He publishes testimonies, photographs, survivor accounts. And slowly, the pressure builds. But here's what makes you angry. Leopold doesn't deny it. He just delays. He creates commissions to investigate himself. He hires PR firms to discredit the whistleblowers. He claims it's exaggerated, anti-Belgian propaganda. And for 5 more years, the killing continues. So, how many people died? That's the question everyone asks. And the answer is horrifying. Historians estimate that between 10 and 15 million Congolese people died during Leopold's reign. That's half the population. Half. Some were murdered outright. Others died from starvation, disease, and exhaustion. Entire regions were depopulated. Villages that once had thousands of people were reduced to dozens. Families were erased. Cultures were destroyed. And here's the part that flips the whole narrative. Leopold became one of the richest men in Europe. He built palaces, monuments, parks. He donated to charities, funded art projects. He was called the Builder King. And all of it, every single marble column, every fountain, every grand building, was paid with Congolese blood. In 1908, international pressure finally becomes too much. The Belgian government forces Leopold to hand over the Congo. It becomes a Belgian colony instead of his personal property. You'd think that would be the end. But Leopold has one final act of evil. Before he gives up control, he orders all records destroyed. Letters, reports, ledgers, photographs, anything that could prove his guilt, burned. He even has agents break into government archives to steal documents. Why? Because he doesn't want history to remember him as a monster. He wants to be remembered as a humanitarian. And for decades, it works. In Belgium, children are taught that Leopold was a hero. Statues of him stand in public squares. His face is on currency. The Congo is barely mentioned, and when it is, it's framed as complicated. This part was erased from every textbook. This truth was buried under a mountain of propaganda. But the survivors remembered. The Congolese people remembered. And eventually, the world started listening. Today, Belgium is finally confronting this history. In 2020, King Philippe, the current king of Belgium, expressed deepest regrets for the atrocities. Not an apology, regrets. Statues of Leopold II have been vandalized, removed, torn down. In the Congo, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, the scars remain. The country is rich in resources, cobalt, diamonds, copper. But the people, still poor, still exploited. Because the systems Leopold created, the extraction, the violence, the dehumanization, they didn't end in 1908. They just changed form. Colonialism became neo-colonialism. Foreign companies still extract resources. Congolese people still suffer. And the world still looks away. Here's why this story matters. It's not just history. It's a blueprint for how atrocities happen in plain sight. How one man can convince the world he's a hero while committing genocide. How profit can justify any horror. How silence becomes complicity. Leopold II died in 1909. He was never prosecuted, never held accountable. He died wealthy, comfortable, respected. And the Congolese people? They're still waiting for justice, still waiting for reparations, still waiting for the world to say, "We see you, we believe you, and we're sorry." So the next time someone tells you history is boring, the next time someone says the past doesn't matter, remember this. There are stories they don't want you to know, stories they tried to burn, stories that expose how evil hides behind good intentions. Leopold called it the Congo Free State, but the only thing free was his ability to kill without consequence. 10 million people. Gone. And for what? Rubber. Progress. Civilization. Don't let them erase this. Don't let them forget, because the moment we stop remembering is the moment it can happen again. If this story shook you, share it. The truth doesn't spread itself. And if you want to learn more about hidden histories the world tried to bury, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started.